Today's January 5th, 2016. John, I saw you were with Gene Simmons yesterday. One of your pictures you tweeted out on Instagram. What's up?
That was quite the meeting, Andrew. Gene Simmons was very funny about as blue or, politically incorrect as you might imagine him to be, and yet very entertaining fellow, and certainly has kept that band and its popularity going and growing throughout the years. I mean, they've got live concerts for all of 2017, it seems. And he's also got this, what is it called? Rock and Brews.
Is it a bar?
It's like 20 real rock and roll bars / restaurants that it's not like the Hard Rock with just memorabilia and stuff on the walls. They're just really rock and roll bars, hardcore drinks and beating rock music being played.
That's funny.
In there.
That's funny because I met him like 10 years ago, maybe 11, in New York at the Javits Center. Again, but very quick. Like you said, when you talk to him, he's on his game. And I think he was doing a boxing thing. I don't know if it ever came like boobs and boxing or boxing and boobs, or it was basically girls that dress up like boxers or something. I mean, like Hooters, but I don't know. But that looked pretty cool that you met him, and I don't know. I just wanted to compare notes on him. Quick dude.
Yeah, very quick, very smart, and certainly was a good 15 or 20-minute conversation Pete and I had with him yesterday.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was, I tell you what, he was more generous with his time, Andrew, than an awful lot of folks who aren't nearly as famous that come through these halls. So, nice guy. Liked him.
What are you trading? I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of, like I said, keep my powder dry. I still have that nugget, my gold. Boy, what a difference a day makes with that stuff.
Thank goodness. Well, I've got some GDX because of some activity in there. They've rolled up, Andrew, to the January 2350s today in GDX. So that's a good thing if you're somebody like Andrew who's got some calls in the GDX. It's up almost 6% today, and that's just the regular value miners, folks, not some of the crazier levered plays that Andrew likes to go with.
Got to live,
but how
man.
about this one,
Living
Andrew?
big, what?
TLT. Take a look at that.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
This isn't the day that we're seeing unusual activity, but we've talked about it a lot, and I've talked, and so has Jeff Gundlach, and I'm not trying to put myself on the same level as Jeff. He is the king of bonds, but I have said that I thought we would top out at about 250, 255 in the 10-year. We did touch 260 on the 14th of December. That was a yield. Now bonds have rallied, which means yields have come down to, right now I show them at 236, Andrew. That is 9.5%. The move that we're talking about. That's pretty big, the yield coming down by that much. And I'd say keep your eye on this because that's something that if we indeed, obviously we've got the employment data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics tomorrow, BLS. That'll be out at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Watch it because people have been betting that maybe they don't have as much reason to increase rates if indeed the numbers continue as they have. You saw the retail numbers today, Andrew. That certainly plays into this theory that maybe we've topped out, at least in the short term, not forever, but, short term could be 3 to 6 months as far as rates. Let's keep an eye on it. TLT is a good way to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of that and volatility, of course, because they go hand in hand when there's uncertainty, one of the takeaways from today's VIX report was none. No volatility. At least for today. I mean,
even with the market flipping and going negative. I mean, you guys pull up your own graphs for it and so forth. But the Dow graph today, if you just look at for instance, this one-day graph, we pretty much fell off a cliff, right? I mean, we were around 19,500 on the close yesterday, 19.4 to 19.5. We traded all the way down to 19,820 not too long ago, Andrew. Now we're at 19,880 or so, and so we've been working our way back. But the VIX is down, even when the market rolled over by triple digits today. So that's interesting.
Yep, they can watch that video every day right around lunchtime if they don't know what they're talking about. Most people that listen to this podcast listen to it because they're also subscribers to YouTube, which we've been getting a pretty nice, healthy group of people just signing in and commenting and trugging along. Nice.
Good.
2017.
Well, it should, because it's a great. The VIX Sonar Report is not our opinion. It is from the specialist in the VIX pit, whichever person it does happen to be. And there are three of them that mainly handle those duties, and they're interchangeable, and sometimes one of them's on the floor and two of them are upstairs, or vice versa. But they have great insight into institutional buying and selling in that pit. Yeah,
and if they were the thing on the front of the ship, like Leonard DiCaprio or the Albatross, all I could say was pretty smooth sailing on the VIX for the next, I don't know, at least the next 24 hours. I mean, that could change. But as far as them selling, out of the money calls and whatnot, so we're not seeing the levels that we used to see. I'm sorry, I didn't watch the show today, halftime. What, did you mention anything?
Well, we didn't get a chance, really. And I'm not trying to dodge the question. It was Leon Cooperman. It was great to have him.
That's right. He gave a nice statement as far as his, I give money away, and they're just coming after me. I could send 2,500 people to school. I liked what he said. He seemed pretty sincere, as far as the person goes.
And, there's when you heard him, and you heard him say that he's basically going to spend close to $100 million on the defense of this.
It's a lot of billable hours,
he's lawyered
man.
up. Well, and, I think he's also telling those guys, look, I'm not rolling over. I'm a billionaire. I can afford this. Andrew, he is throwing the kitchen sink at it. He just said, look, I privately and publicly, I've talked to him privately a lot, and he said, John, I didn't do what they said. They have no evidence that I did what they're accusing me of. He says, I'm going to take them apart in court. And he said, I'm not going to go out with them telling me, oh, yeah, well, he pled to this. He said, I'm not pleading to anything. So he says, and I'm a guy who has had to, over the years, spend seven figures on lawyers for various things. So I know what he's talking about. And I am nowhere near, of course, again, Leon Cooperman's stature in the industry. But I will say that the bigger profile you are, the more you're going to have to spend. And those lawyers at Sullivan and Cromwell or whoever he's using, they don't come cheap, Andrew. We're talking $800 to $1,000 an hour for those guys.
Yeah, it reminds me of that show Billions. They were going after that guy, the attorney general or whatever, the downtown New York district. Paul Giamatti was going after Bobby, whatever his name was. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Well, good for him. So what would you have mentioned if you had a chance to mention it on halftime?
Well, we were seeing, again, some pretty good activity in the likes of Alibaba, one that we talked about here on the podcast not long ago. Really good activity in that name, and the stock just surging today. Also, we, knock on wood, were able to take some off in like BX, which is Blackstone. Pete was really bullish on those miners that you're in, Andrew. I am still in the TLT, and I think it goes higher, which means rates continue to drop. And tomorrow will be a big test of that. So those are some of the things I would have spoken about today. Just kind of rolled up pretty quick right there.
All right. Well, let's leave it at that.
All right. Tomorrow we'll have another one for you, folks, and it'll be as we go into and the reaction to the employment data tomorrow. So subscribe on YouTube and or through iTunes.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Later.